There is a moment in many women's lives when the body begins speaking a different language. You may notice that your sleep is no longer as effortless as it once was. Your energy may rise and fall differently. Stress may seem to stay with you longer. Your body may recover more slowly from a demanding day. You may notice changes in comfort, mood, confidence, or sexual well-being that you never expected. And then comes the question that so many women quietly ask themselves, is this just aging? Here's the important truth. Getting older does not mean that your health stops mattering. It does not mean that changes in your body should be ignored. And it certainly does not mean that you have to accept persistent discomfort simply because you have crossed the age of 40. Sexual health is part of health. It is connected to the heart. It is connected to the brain. It is connected to circulation. It is connected to sleep. It is connected to stress. It is connected to hormones. It is connected to physical comfort, emotional well-being, relationships, and the way you feel inside your own body. When you understand that connection, something powerful happens. You stop looking for one secret fix. You start looking at the whole system. And that is where the real opportunity for healthy aging begins. After 40, many women experience changes associated with the transition toward menopause and later life. These changes can vary enormously from one person to another. Some women notice few symptoms. Others experience sleep disruption, hot flashes, mood changes, changes in sexual desire, vaginal dryness or discomfort, or shifts in energy and body function. None of these experiences should be dismissed, but they also should not automatically be treated as evidence that something is wrong with you. Your body is adapting. The challenge is learning which changes are expected, which are treatable, which deserve investigation, and which can be improved through the everyday choices you make. That is why today I want to take this subject out of the shadows and place it where it belongs, in the context of women's health. Because when we talk about sexual health after 40, we are really talking about the health of the whole person. Let's begin with something that may surprise you. The story of sexual wellness does not begin in the bedroom. It begins with your blood vessels. Every tissue in the body depends on circulation. Blood carries oxygen and nutrients. Blood vessels respond to changes in physical activity, blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, inflammation, hormones, and countless other biological signals. When your cardiovascular system is working well, it supports the functioning of many organs at once. That is why caring for your heart is also an important part of caring for your overall sexual health. Think about what happens when you walk. Your heart beats faster. Your muscles demand more oxygen. Your blood vessels adjust. Your nervous system coordinates movement. Your lungs increase their work. Your metabolism responds. One simple activity creates a conversation between multiple systems of the body. This is one reason regular movement becomes increasingly valuable with age. Movement is not merely a way to burn calories. It is a biological signal. It tells your muscles that they are needed. It tells your cardiovascular system to remain adaptable. It helps maintain mobility. It supports physical independence. And for many people, regular activity also improves mood and confidence. This is important because sexual well-being is not a single biological switch. It is an experience shaped by physical, psychological, relational, and environmental factors. Imagine trying to feel relaxed and connected when you are exhausted, stressed, uncomfortable, and physically inactive. That is not a character flaw. That is a human response. Your body has priorities. When your mind is overwhelmed and your body is depleted, it may be much harder to feel present. This is why healthy aging should not be reduced to one topic. The better question is, what conditions help my entire body function well? That question leads us to movement. You do not have to become an athlete. You do not need an extreme program. You do not need to punish yourself. You need a form of activity you can realistically maintain. Walking is valuable. Dancing is valuable. Swimming can be valuable. Cycling can be valuable. Strength exercises adapted to your ability can be valuable. Gentle mobility work can be valuable. Even adding more movement to ordinary days matters. The goal is not perfection. The goal is consistency. That is a recurring principle in healthy aging. Small actions performed repeatedly often matter more than dramatic actions performed briefly. Your body responds to patterns. And this brings us to another powerful influence: nutrition. The internet loves miracle foods. One week it is a particular berry. The next week it is a special oil, then a powder, then a drink, then a supplement that supposedly changes hormones overnight. Real human biology is much less dramatic. There is no single food that can guarantee sexual wellness. There is no ingredient that can erase aging. And there is no supplement that can replace good sleep, physical activity, preventive health care, and a nourishing overall diet. What can help is a dietary pattern that supports the systems involved in healthy aging. That often means eating a variety of vegetables and fruits, legumes, nuts, and seeds, whole grains, and appropriate sources of protein, along with minimally processed foods that fit your individual nutritional needs. The reason variety matters is that food is not just about calories. Plant foods contain thousands of natural compounds that interact with biological pathways. Different colors often reflect different families of compounds. Green vegetables contain one set of plant chemicals. Berries contain another. Beans contain another. Herbs and spices contain many additional compounds. The goal is not to worship one superfood. The goal is to build diversity. Think about a garden. One plant does not create a thriving ecosystem by itself. The environment becomes healthier when multiple components work together. Your diet can work the same way. Variety gives your body access to a wider range of nutrients and plant compounds. And there is another reason nutrition deserves attention after 40. Metabolic health becomes increasingly important. Blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, body composition, physical activity, sleep, all of these factors interact. When metabolic and cardiovascular health are neglected, the effects can extend throughout the body. This is why a woman concerned about sexual health should not assume that the answer must be something specifically labeled sexual. Sometimes the most important intervention is much more ordinary. Getting blood pressure checked, improving physical activity, sleeping more consistently, reviewing medications with a clinician, eating a more balanced diet, managing blood sugar, reducing tobacco exposure. These choices may sound less exciting than a miracle product, but they address the systems that support health every day. And now we need to talk about something that cannot be put into a capsule: sleep. Sleep is often treated as optional. People stay up late, they wake during the night, they push through the next day, then they wonder why they feel tired, irritable, unfocused, or disconnected. Your body does not see sleep as a luxury. Sleep is part of maintenance. During sleep, the body is involved in processes related to restoration, memory, metabolic regulation, immune function, and nervous system balance. When sleep becomes chronically poor, many areas of life can be affected. Energy can decline, mood can change, stress can feel stronger, exercise may feel harder, your ability to concentrate can suffer, and when you are constantly exhausted, it is understandable that other aspects of life may become lower priorities. This is why sleep belongs in every conversation about healthy aging. If sleep has changed after 40, do not immediately assume that you are simply bad at sleeping now. Look for reasons. Are hot flashes waking you? Are you under unusual stress? Are you drinking caffeine too late? Are you using screens right before bedtime? Are you experiencing persistent insomnia? Do you snore loudly or wake feeling unrefreshed? These are questions worth discussing. There are also simple habits that can help. Try to keep a consistent sleep schedule. Make your bedroom comfortable and dark. Create a calmer period before bedtime. Limit activities that make your mind more alert late at night. And when sleep problems persist, seek professional evaluation. Sometimes the most effective health step is simply identifying the problem accurately. The same principle applies to stress. Stress is not merely a feeling, it is a biological state. When the brain senses a demand, the body responds. Heart rate can change, breathing can change, muscles can tense, attention narrows. Hormonal signals shift. This response can be useful in short bursts, but chronic stress is different. When stress becomes your baseline, it can affect sleep, mood, appetite, concentration, and energy. And sexual well being can be influenced by all of those. It is difficult to feel relaxed and connected when your mind is running through 20 unfinished tasks. It is difficult to feel present when you are worried about money, work, family, caregiving, health, or relationship problems. This is not a failure of desire. It is often a sign that your nervous system is carrying a heavy load. That is why stress management deserves real attention, not as a vague wellness slogan. As part of biology, you might create a quiet routine in the evening. You might walk outdoors. You might practice slow breathing. You might meditate. You might write in a journal. You might spend time with people who make you feel safe and understood. You might make room for hobbies that have no productivity requirement at all. Rest is not laziness. Recovery is part of health. And this becomes particularly important for women because many spend decades managing the needs of other people: children, parents, partners, workplaces, households, communities. The mental load can become enormous. You can become very good at caring for everyone else while quietly forgetting that your body also needs care. But there is a lesson that deserves to be repeated. Your health is not an interruption to your responsibilities. Your health is what allows you to participate in those responsibilities. That means preventive care matters. This is one of the most overlooked pieces of sexual health. Many women will talk about headaches. They will talk about back pain. They will talk about blood pressure. But when a symptom involves sexual function or intimate discomfort, they may become embarrassed. They may think it is too personal. They may assume it is normal. They may hope it disappears. Sometimes it does, sometimes it does not. And that is why knowing when to seek help is so important. Persistent pain deserves evaluation. Unexpected bleeding deserves evaluation. Sudden or major changes deserve evaluation. Symptoms that are interfering with quality of life deserve attention. Changes that begin after starting a medication deserve discussion. And symptoms that are creating distress should not be dismissed simply because someone says that happens with age. Age can explain a change. It does not automatically mean you must live with it. There is a difference between normal aging and untreated suffering. Modern healthcare can often help with many problems that women historically learned to tolerate in silence. This is particularly relevant during menopause. Hormonal changes can influence tissues throughout the body. Some women experience changes in vaginal comfort or sexual function. Others notice changes in sleep, mood, or temperature regulation. The range is enormous. That is why individualized care matters. A symptom does not have just one possible explanation. For one woman, discomfort may be related to hormonal changes. For another, it could be medication related. For another, stress and sleep may play a major role. For another, pelvic floor dysfunction or another medical issue may be relevant. The correct answer is not determined by a social media post. It is determined through appropriate assessment. This is one of the most important habits for healthy aging. Learn your body, pay attention to change, ask questions, and seek qualified care when something is persistent or concerning. There is dignity in asking. There is strength in seeking information. Now, I want to discuss something that has nothing to do with supplements and everything to do with quality of life: confidence. A woman's relationship with her body can change dramatically over time. She may have lived through pregnancy. She may have experienced menopause. Her skin may change. Her hair may change. Her weight distribution may change. Her muscle mass may change. Her body may carry signs of years lived. And yet society often sends the message that women should look as if they have never aged. That message can create unnecessary shame. But healthy aging is not a beauty contest. It is not a competition against your younger self. And sexual well-being does not require you to achieve some impossible visual standard. Confidence is not the absence of insecurity. Confidence can mean being comfortable enough in your own skin to stop constantly judging it. It can mean treating your body with respect. It can mean moving because you enjoy movement, eating because food nourishes you, resting because recovery matters, seeking care because your health matters, and setting boundaries because your needs matter. There is nothing unhealthy about wanting to feel attractive. There is nothing wrong with wanting to feel confident. But the goal should be to build well being, not to punish yourself for aging. That distinction matters because shame rarely creates sustainable health. Understanding often does. The same is true within relationships. Sexual health is partly biological, but it is also relational. Communication can transform the experience. Partners may need to discuss changes in comfort. They may need to discuss timing. They may need to discuss stress. They may need to discuss expectations. They may need to discuss what has changed and what has not. No one should be expected to read another person's mind. As bodies change, conversations often need to change too. That is not a sign that something is broken. It is a sign that relationships are living systems. They adapt. A healthy relationship makes room for honesty. It allows discomfort to be discussed without shame. It allows changes to be acknowledged without blame. And it recognizes that emotional connection can matter just as much as physical factors. When people feel emotionally safe, understood, and respected, they may find it easier to communicate their needs. That brings us to a critical idea. Sexual health should not be measured by performance. It should be measured by well-being, comfort, choice, connection, health, satisfaction, and the absence of avoidable suffering. There is no single normal experience that every woman must match. One woman may have a strong interest in sexual activity. Another may have little interest. Another may notice a temporary change. Another may be dealing with discomfort that she wants to treat. These differences do not automatically mean that one person is healthy and another is unhealthy. Health is individualized. The goal is not to create a standardized sexual life. The goal is to help each woman understand her own body and make informed choices. And that brings us back to the heart of healthy aging. Healthy aging is not about turning back time. It is about protecting function. It is about keeping your body supported. It is about preserving mobility, maintaining cardiovascular health, protecting sleep, managing stress, eating nourishing foods, staying socially connected, and getting preventive care. This is where the idea of whole body health becomes incredibly useful. Your body is not a group of disconnected compartments. Your heart does not know that you have labeled one day cardiology and another day sexual health. Your nervous system does not separate sleep from stress from mood. Your muscles do not separate physical activity from metabolic health. Your brain does not separate emotional connection from physical comfort. The systems interact. This means a change in one area can affect another. For example, poor sleep may reduce energy. Lower energy may reduce activity. Lower activity may affect mood. Stress may increase. And now the person is feeling less physically and emotionally available. That is a network. Likewise, regular exercise may improve fitness. Better fitness may improve energy. More energy may make movement easier. Movement may improve mood. Better mood may make social connection easier. The system can work in a positive direction too. That is why small daily habits matter. You do not need to transform everything at once. In fact, trying to transform everything at once can be overwhelming. Instead, choose one area. Maybe you begin with walking. Maybe you begin with a better breakfast. Maybe you begin with a regular bedtime. Maybe you schedule a medical appointment. Maybe you talk to your partner. Maybe you write down the symptoms you have been experiencing. One step creates information. Information creates awareness. Awareness creates better decisions. Better decisions repeated over time create new patterns. That is how sustainable health is built. There is another important point about supplements. The supplement industry is very good at making women feel that aging is a problem that can be solved with a bottle. But supplements are not automatically safe simply because they are marketed as natural. Some can interact with medications. Some may contain amounts that are different from what a consumer expects. Some may have limited evidence, and many are sold with claims that go far beyond what the science supports. This does not mean that every supplement is useless. It means that supplements should be treated as tools, not as magic. A healthy diet remains the foundation. Medical advice matters, and any supplement should be considered in context, especially when someone has a medical condition or takes prescription medications. That is one of the reasons I prefer a broader question, not what should I take, but what does my body need? Sometimes the answer is better nutrition, sometimes it is more physical activity, sometimes it is better sleep, sometimes it is medical evaluation, sometimes it is treatment for an underlying condition, sometimes it is simply reassurance and education. The most effective intervention depends on the cause. Now, think about cardiovascular prevention again. A woman may assume that heart health is a separate topic from sexual wellness, but blood vessels are everywhere. If blood pressure is consistently elevated, that matters. If blood sugar is poorly regulated, that matters. If cholesterol is significantly abnormal, that matters. If tobacco use is damaging vascular function, that matters. This is why the foundations of cardiovascular health deserve so much attention: food, movement, sleep, stress management, preventive screenings, following appropriate medical treatment.